So, hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. Guten Tag, Guten Morgen, Guten Abend, anything that's going through in your day. This is Super Giraj here, and today we're going to talk about Bursting Dynamics. So, Bursting Dynamics is actually a project that I started nearly 6 months ago. Yeah, 6 months ago, I suppose. So, this is a website basically and a video channel on YouTube that talks about perspective. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about whatever is actually the agenda of Bursting Dynamics, what we are trying to convey to you through this Bursting Dynamics channel, or basically articles or so on and so forth. So basically, this is our website. You can see it right here, and this is CodeCon. Actually, this is you know, a competition that we are basically hosting right now in our college. So if you want to get into it, you can basically get into it. It's basically about code designing. So what code designing actually means is that we'll be giving you simple problems to give a course about, to give computer course that can solve that problem. But also we are going to check that how well built that system is, how well built the code is, how it can handle the error, how cleanly it has been written, how basically bifurcated it is. So basically we're talking about um, basically good amount of a software, not basically a program code. So that's exactly what we are looking forward here. So this price is very nearly $3,000. That nearly accounts for nearly $50 or something in US. So let's see, if you want to join it, you can go here. But actually this is about Bursting Dynamics, so sorry for this thing. So basically this is our website in which we're going to talk about basically three different topics. But before going into the topics, we're going to let me explain you what the basic agenda behind our you know website is. So the basic thing that I have always felt when I was learning something is that we get very little amount of resources to learn something the way we want. So basically, the thing that everybody needs. There are many kinds of people, so I'm not generalizing this to everybody, but actually, what everybody needs is that you need to understand for any topic the basic full outline first, and then you need to get into specifics. Let us assume, uh, let us assume you want to learn about rocket science and you want to be like, you know, somewhere in NASA. So if you want to know how a rocket works, so it's like, let's say this is my rocket out here, and this gives off the propulsion, goes up. So basically, this can be taught through very simple physics. This can be taught through Newton's third law. Now, Newton's third law says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. Now, in physics, that means that if you put a force forward, then there would be a force backwards too. Now, if I explain you only that, basically some may get it because obviously you don't want to question yourselves, or basically you have learned physics earlier too. But actually, there's one mistake in this kind of explanation. This is not basically a mistake, but I have not conveyed to you this thing correctly. If there's a force forward and if there's a force backward, won't they cancel each other? If there's a force forward, there's a force backward. They will cancel each other. Why are they not canceling each other? Where are the forces going? Now that is basically the problem. In any education system or any video that you're going to see, basically they actually teach you this thing, that why they don't cancel each other, but they don't convey you it in very beginning. You should be explained that uh, just when you are just introduced with the concept. For example, if I'm telling you that Newton's third law has equal and opposite reaction stuff in it, and these both forces work on different objects, then it would make sense that yes, the rocket would be having the force upward and the ground would be having the force downwards. So ground is pushed down and the rocket is pushed up, and that's why it works. Not that the rocket itself has the downward force too. So that's exactly how the things work, and that's the matter of perspective. So let's see if you can relate to it. If I burn up match right now, Can you relate this match to any jet engine? Or let's say if you're on a flight, you may be you may have seen a flight or jets somewhere. Can you relate this thing to jets? So if you can relate that, you will basically get the idea of what we are trying to say. Perspective means everything. If you light up a match, you can see that the air near the match or near the actually the flame goes up because that air is very light and it expands and therefore needs to go up. That is exactly the thing that makes the jet make you push forward. Jet expands the cold air that's coming from the forward portion, and it expands through explosions, and it goes from backwards. Now there's an interesting fact here too, that jet engines don't cannot be uh, measured through your horsepower. So how much BP, how much CC it has, you can't basically measure that. So we're going to talk about that in later articles, but you get the idea. You need to have a perspective through the relations. Now what we think, what actually I think actually, is that everything is a part of a grand design. That's that's stolen thing stuff, but yes, that is actually everything is a part of a grand design. So what I mean by that is that everything is interlinked. If you know something, you can apply it somewhere to explain it. So this is what we are talking about here. So this one more thing one more thing that is on our website is that what our ideology is that we often overcomplicate things. Now if I ask you simply, just from this example, that can you explain me how the jet engine of, let's say, a flight works? Now you will say that I don't know, simply because you never knew about the Newton's third law and you never knew about the jets and the matches connection. So, but I have explained you that through very simple steps, using two different examples. Now you can actually explain how the jet makes you move forward, because it has Newton's third law and it also is based on the concept of hot air expanding. So if you can connect these components, you can actually explain very complicated stuff. So here down we have three different categories in our website. It's about machines, it's about science, and it's about Outlook. Now my favorite is obviously Outlook. Your favorite I think would be Outlook. But actually I started off with machines, so I kind of like it. So I have a kind of a computer science mentality. So here we're going to talk about basically how computers actually work. So basically the problem is that when we think about computer programs, it's like you need to code all the time. It's not like that. You don't need to code all the time, because uh, actually there's a lot that goes into computer science that relates to the real life scenarios, because computers actually work in real life and they actually solve problems that are real life problems. The actually first computer, I think, that was a machine, was used to test whether an atom hop is actually possible. So yes, that's a real world scenario. So here, this is my first blog post on this website. Actually, this is a newer site, so it has still got so much bugs in it, but still it's kind of quite working. You can still read the articles. So this is the article on a byte is not 8 bits. So if you have learned about computers somewhere, if you have a bit of knowledge somewhere, so you must have known that a byte is actually 8 bits. But actually I discovered it from somewhere that a byte is not actually 8 bit. It's just a convention that we have created. You can make a byte nearly 9 bits, 7 bits, 4 bits, whatever you want, but it's basically a convention that we follow in computers. And conventions are basically what we follow mostly in computers. So you can actually make many new ideas, but at the end of the day you'll be finding out that it's not basically a new idea. It has been thought over by many different people, but just for compatibility reasons, they have resorted to what you are seeing right now. So why it is not 8-bit, it talks about, yeah. You can see this question mark right now here. So this is the problem with our news site. It has not got the correct encoding, so we are still working on it, and we are still working on the comment boxes. So basically we have got the apology somewhere here why some parts of the website may not work as expected. Website still in development, sorry. And the comment box also is kind of shitty here, but actually this thing works. So yes, we're going to talk about why byte is not 8 bits. I need to get this out too. Sorry, hackers. So this is why here I talk about why it's only 7 bits, because the 8 bit is for the parity bit. Now for the parity bit you need to understand why the parity bit is used, because it's kind of it stops you from using a byte that's malicious. uh, in some way it's kind of an error checking code. It's kind of an antivirus that works 50% of the time here. So we're going to explain that. So it's kind of loosely written, but because it was my first blog, so but still it's worth a read. So basically you can go through it. We'll give you a basically description and link down below in the comments, down below in the description, sorry. In the science section, this is basically written by Ankur Shah, basically Ankur Shah and many of our team members, in which we talk about how the diamond plant was made and what are pulsars. Now, the one great fact about pulsars is that they are actually very accurate time machines. Time, not actually time machines, but actually they give you an idea of time much accurate than your watch. So if you can see pulsars through your naked eye somewhere in the day, you don't have to basically see your watches, because they are in rhythm. They shine up in rhythm. So they are so precise. They are so precise that actually scientists are even astonished by that. So that's what we have written in this article. And lastly, we have the outlook section, in which we talk about the real life that everybody likes. So if you know about Shiva, Shiva is basically a Hindu god. Everybody looks forward to him as the god, because like there's a trinity kind of concept in Hinduism that says that we have three gods: Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Mahesh is Shiva. Brahma is the scientist; he is the creator. Vishnu is nurturer, and Shiva is the destroyer. So it's said that in mythology that Shiva had actually taken up poison to save the world. Now it doesn't actually make sense that if a person can take an poison and still survive. Now there's a book written by Amish on Meluha, and he talks about Shiva. He's basically a devotee to Shiva, and basically he talks about why how the Indian mythology is modernizing. So obviously, let's say Christianity. Christianity always says that basically you can actually stem back where the Christianity began to nearly 2000 years ago, because that's when Jesus Christ was born. But actually, we don't have any such time frame for Hinduism. Amish tries to give that time frame in his book. Now, obviously, it has been a fiction, but many people obviously think that it's not basically a fiction. So my friend actually started thinks that it was actually real. So basically it's his perception to it, how he perceives basically. So here he talks about the sombras. It is actually the poison. He actually talks about the poison, Neelkant and the sombras. He actually talks about the poison that in the mythology Shiva had taken up to save the world. So it's worth a read. You must read. So it actually, this website actually opens up an eye for how to look at things through different perspectives. So that's what our aim is. Feel free to comment down below if you like what our perception thing is. So that helps us grow. and that's it. Whenever we make something new, we'll be getting in touch with you soon, sooner or later. So, and we are working upon a channel trailer, and we'll be uploading it soon. That's the that's the only thing that I want to say right now. So thank you for being with me today, and I hope you liked the posting dynamics with the comment box made like this shit. So some parts of website may still not. Thank you, and we'll be with you shortly.